Welcome back to Chasing News. I'm Bill Spadea. We got a lot more show coming up for you tonight, including a story about a Jewish grandma who has become the face of J-Date. But first, I want to bring in our own Nate Rogers to tell you the story of a transgender pastor in our area turning heads as Rose becomes Peter. Nate, what do you got?
Bill, on Sunday there will be a historic renaming ceremony here at St. Matthew Trinity Lutheran Parish. Pastor Rose BEESON will then be called Pastor Peter BEESON. Now, BEESON has pastored the 160-year-old parish here for more than 3 years in Hoboken. He identified as queer before taking the job. BEESON says he's been transitioning from woman to man for quite some time, but last summer he wanted his congregation to know.
People are looking for places that have that authenticity and integrity.
The Evangelical Lutheran Church in America is one of the most welcoming and inclusive bodies toward the LGBT community. St. Matthew Trinity is filled with predominantly young members. About 100 people attend each week.
Some of us were surprised, but we weren't really taken aback. Nobody was really shocked by any stretch of the imagination.
BEESON says transitioning is his own story of resurrection as the LGBTQ community continually fights for equal rights and against discrimination. The pastor hopes the church's stance will further the dialogue.
I feel amazingly in awe of all those people who have trod this path before me in their own ways.
We don't need to understand something in order to accept it. We don't need to understand something in order to love someone. We don't even need to understand in order to be tolerant.
BEESON says he's received tremendous support from the church and Hoboken community. Now, just last week, the church held diversity training on LGBTQ topics just to get an understanding on what to say, how to say it, and how to be more educated about the topic. The church says they'll continue to have these types of forums. In Hoboken, I'm Nate Rogers for Chasing News.
Okay, thanks, Nate. All right, let's bring back the A-plus panel. Lisa Durden is here, Serena Damaso, and Bob Bianchi. Lisa, I'm going to start with you. I think we've had a trend in this culture recently to go toward the massive celebration of sex changes and transgender, etc. Don't you think it is really insensitive and irresponsible when you think about all the people who are truly suffering and struggling with gender dysphoria?
Well, first of all, the Bible says, to thine own self be true. So the person decided that they struggled for years and they're no longer struggling. They're going to do a name ceremony. They're going to celebrate the name going from the female name to Peter. This is what churches are supposed to do. All sinners are welcome. Well, it should be all people are welcome. Every church should be celebrating something like this.
Anything with this? I mean, I think there is a message that I think we've gone away to. We've gotten to a point now where kids are hearing this message that, look, you don't like your gender. You can literally change anything.
Well, I don't think that that's really what's happening out there. I do think that, you know, there are people that are struggling, and so to really kind of, I understand your point, throw it in their face that, you know, we're celebrating this moment. But it is, if somebody has found themselves and is to thine own self be true, then they should be able to do that.
Bob, why no balance on this issue? The celebration of someone that wants to make a change and then almost condemnation for someone that doesn't, that says, look, I'm struggling with this and this is not, I don't know who I should be, I need help.
I don't think it's a condemnation. I think that it's more, what they're trying to do is with a population of people who have previous to this been somewhat the scourge or whipping, you know, post for people to say we're welcoming you, whether you agree with it religiously or not. We're inclusive and we should celebrate this move.
Well, beyond religiously, I mean, you know, I'm a Catholic and that's one thing, but on the other side, there has to be a demarcation line between adults and kids. When you're talking about kids, I think you are now borderline crossing into child abuse when you encourage it.
I agree with you on that.
By the time they're younger, that they are transgender. They know when they're 12 or 13 or 9.
Yeah, but the
issue what flavor ice cream they want to have at 12. They certainly are qualified to know what gender they are. We got to leave it there, guys. Thank you. Always good to see you, Bob. Thanks, Serena. Lisa.